Hello everyone. It's been a while, but we are back in Railroader. Assuming it captures it. There we go. So, it's a new year, it's a new season, and we are starting back at square what? Hang on. I could be wrong, but isn't this supposed to be a Mogul? And isn't that supposed to be a 10-wheeler? Well, that's because we've got a mod installed. And that mod, if we take a look, is called Roundhouse Research. How this works, we start off with just the bare minimum, cheapest things we can get. With one exception. I'll get to that. We have to spend money to research newer equipment. We have to research new locomotives, we have to research new freight cars, we have to research new passenger cars. With locomotives, it goes by tractive effort. So, as we spend money, we'll be able to get engines with more power. With passenger cars, it just seems to you spend money and you eventually get a bigger one, and I think boxcars and other freight cars work the same way as this. And you can select which type of car you want to research. I think for the time being, we're going to focus on researching locomotives, and we are going to throw a lot of money at it. But in the meantime, let's figure out what's going on with this railroad. Let's get that engine fixed, shall we? And yes, I am going to run third person. So we are starting a new game. We're calling this the Silva Overland Railway right now. And just like any good railroad, we do not reach Silva yet. I do have some goals preset for this season. The first one, we are not allowed to take on debt. No debt whatsoever. Second, we need to get to Silva. Then we need to get to Alarca. And by the end of the game, we need to fully dieselize this railroad. And that'll be tricky because you might notice we don't have any diesels available. We got nothing. So this is going to take a while. We're going to have to research our way up to diesels, and then we're going to have to buy a whole bunch of them. And keep in mind, this engine starts with only 12,000 pounds of tractive effort. That is not a lot. So that's going to make these early days really interesting. Alright, let's hop out real quick. Get this guy re-railed. And then we'll go knuckle in. See if I can find the reverser. Maybe I'll just run like this for a bit. There we go. Nope, not the brake, the throttle. I'm just gonna go back to third person. I'm not the Angry Ragtime. You can't donate money to make me go in the first person, so, me. Now one thing to note about this engine, if you go above about 95% throttle at lower speeds, it will slip. And that does make it very hard to use with AI, because the AI likes to run at full power. Trying to adjust my sound settings. I think it's a bit loud. Shove this into the... Well, first let's coal and water up. By the way, the goals I mentioned, I may add a couple later. I'm thinking probably one for industry tier minimums. Again, like last season, have to serve all of them at minimum tier 3. And I might do something about the scrapyard, because that is still a thing. Oh, I guess we can't really fuel this. Well, we can. Can we? I guess we can water it up. But they, oh, that's right, they do give us a loaded coal car, so that's good. We'll have to go deal with that. But for now, we'll water this engine up, and then we'll figure out our next steps from here. If we're gonna need to make a lot of money fast, I've got a plan that's gonna slow us down initially, but should speed us up later. So first things first, we're gonna buy this. And now those cars get delivered at the next interchange. So let's set the next interchange. It'll be in 2.5 hours. Once this engine is parked, we will grab that interchange. Fortunately, we did start off with, well, most of a load of coal and water, so this engine should be good for now. By the way, our 2 engines are Nicholas in red and Patrick in green. I don't know if we'll be able to name other engines. I think that requires special mods that might not be supported now. Shrug. Well, we'll just park you right outside the shed. Maybe a little in the shed. And that way you can get repaired. And do a quick save. So let's fast forward to the next interchange. 1, 2, 3. There we go. 13 cars. And all of them bound for the Ella Bridge site. Let's go get them. I'm realizing I typically don't run my own trains this much. I like using the AI, but I don't like the wheel slip. So we're gonna see if we can get Ella Bridge done fast enough that we can get to the Bryson Industries on day 3. But if not, then we'll get to them on day 4. And we'll also go ahead and do the first passenger run while we're at it. There we go. This is probably going to be a heavy load, but it's a pretty flat grade to Ela, so I'm not too worried. Oh, wow, that's a heavy load. Alright, well, we are going to grab the passenger car. Yeah, that hurts. You know, come to think of it, I probably should have bumped up this a little bit earlier. We're gonna double that. Might be back in service later today. Not that we'll really need it later today. We'd rather have it tomorrow, but we'll go for it. As an aside, my initial plan for this season before this mod came out was to do a diesels only. So it would have started as normal, but instead of fixing this engine, we would have crashed into it, and I would have had to buy a diesel on short notice. And then one of our goals would have been to scrap all as many steam engines as we could. But this mod looks a lot more interesting. Especially since the Maintenance of Way update hasn't come out yet. I was counting on that being out before starting another season, but it didn't. So we're just gonna go with this. Hopefully it comes out soon, though. In fact, with my luck, they'll release it tomorrow. Honestly, it might be faster just to shift R that coach onto this train. But we'll see. Now, I don't think we're going to need the caboose for now, if not if we're running everything manually. So, we're going to sell that. And we'll just shuffle it to the interchange later. And highball to the depot. Let's also set this car up. So we're going to unload there and we're going to buy coal there. And yes, we are the sorry. Are we sorry though? I don't know. So one thing I mentioned is that typically it makes you start off with the worst equipment. But the Boontoon coaches are actually pretty good. I mean, they're kind of heavy, but they hold a lot of people. So, I'm not really sure why they chose this as the starter, but I'm not complaining. I don't think we're going to be spending a whole lot of money on other things. Or on passenger upgrades. In fact, we're probably not going to spend a lot on the other ones either. In fact, come to think of it, I'm going to edit my text goals. So we're just going to add that, and that way we have to do it. We have to do all the research at some point. Now, we don't have to do it to start with. In fact, to start with, I think we're just going to focus on the engines, so that'll be $2,000 tonight. Now, it will pay it tonight, but it'll have to do the research tomorrow, so we won't see the results of that until day 3. Poor little engine is working its heart out. Hopefully there's a lot of people waiting at the depot. That's not a lot of passengers. We might do a time... no, we'll focus on getting this delivered. I really want to get this delivered as fast as we can. And then we'll also have to do a run later, possibly with the other engine once it's fixed, to get all of that sent up the mountain. Never did check to see what the oil on these things was like. We should probably do that when we stop. I'm used to the AI checking it for me. Alright. Cut steam, because we're going to be coasting for a bit. Extra 2 miles an hour isn't going to get us to the station that much faster. And we should probably turn on our jet light. Yeah, I guess a little more throttle. need to change our whistles too. See if we can actually hit the station platform right. That's a little too much brake. Probably should have just come screaming in like Amtrak. A little more. Get off the road. I know we can park on the road, but let's not. There we go. So we'll grab these 18 people and we'll highball to Ela. I'm just gonna get a snapshot. That's actually a pretty decent one. And we're not going to wait for more, we're just going to go now. And hopefully I don't regret that, but I think we're fine. We're going to customize this a little bit. I'm going to give it rear markers? Yeah. And let's give it one of the liveries too. Reading, maybe? I don't remember what these other ones are. Ooh. I do like SMAL, so we'll go with that for now. Yeah, we might adjust that later, but for now it's good. Yeah, this is going to take a while to get to Ela. I apologize, but it is what it is. I put myself into this mess. I guess I'll at least go first person so we can have a view. That'll be a fun view looking back once we get around these curves. See if we can make it to Ela by noon. That'd be good. Get these cars dropped off 12:30-ish. Now, as I recall, we'll jump back to this. This doesn't say it, but the main window, mod window, does. Right now, this is set to half a pound of tractive effort for every $1. So when this research completes, this should give us another 1,000 pounds of tractive effort. But I think we're going to need 4,000 pounds to get the next engine. That'll be the G16. The Mongol. And we'll probably get one of those right off just so that we have one. Because trying to run a big railroad with two little 440s is not going to be fun. I mean, they'd be good for the Walker branch. And I guess early passenger service, but not going to be good for very long. Take a look back. we should be good on speed for the next few curves, and I think it's downhill, so I'm going to cut back the throttle. That's a fun view. Might be a little better without the phone poles, but not much I can do about that. Yeah, see, we're already gaining speed, and there is that 30 coming up soon. Yeah, see, there's the 30. I think we can hit it a little faster than 30. I've gone 35 through here without issue, but let's not go above that. Oh, one other thing. There we go. We do still have the used locomotive market, and we're still going to make use of the used locomotive market. In fact, I'm hoping at some point I can get a Boon-Tune Combine off the used locomotive market. But I am going to set the rule that we can't get any steam engines or any engines off the market that we haven't already researched. Cars I'm fine with. Because most likely any... Well, how about this? Engines, hard rule. Passenger cars, soft, not really a rule. Freight cars, we can only get it for ourselves if we've researched it. Anything we want to scrap, we can get whatever. Actually, we could probably do that rule with locomotives, too. But we haven't gotten to Scrapalachia yet, so it's not really a big deal right now. Yeah, give me your thoughts. What do you think about the rules for the used market? Restrict it to what we've researched, or anything is fair game if we're scrapping it? I will probably still try and get the Combine off it. The Combines are good. I think we're going to overshoot the platform. Maybe. Maybe not. Yeah, we're going to come right to where we need to be, I think. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Alright, so we're going to drop the car there. We'll get these onto the main, and then we'll run around and shove them up to where they need to go. In fact, how about this? I don't think this is going to work the way I think it should, but we'll see. Nope, 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 nope. I overdid that. Well, maybe. Oh yeah, we're fine, we're fine. This would be blatantly illegal in real life railroading, folks, so don't do it in real life. Fortunately, this is not real life. We'll just let those coast past. And then we'll, well, if they need an extra shove, we'll give them an extra shove. But I think they might just roll all the way to where we need to go. And then we'll just do like a couple back and forth passenger runs to finish out today, and then we'll go to tomorrow. And again, we'll follow just in case, but I think we'll be fine. So remember, there are 3 deliveries required to reopen this bridge. And my goal, my hope is that if we're fast, we'll be able to do all 3 of them before the end of day 2. I don't know if we'll be able to do that, because some of these are going to take a while to unload. If we're lucky, we might. Alright, let's apply a whole bunch of brakes now, because everything's in. Yep, okay. It's all good. It's all set. Let's go back to our coach and we'll do a few passenger runs. I do also have to pay greater attention to my speed now. I cannot rely on the AI to keep me in check if I'm running manually, and I keep forgetting that. Again, I like letting the AI run my trains for me, so I'm honestly not entirely used to running it the regular way. That should tell you something about the quality of the train running sim in this game. But hey, we got them delivered by noon. That was good. We got 20 cars. I'm willing to do time skips now, so once we're hooked in, we'll time skip. And we're just going to shuffle back and forth. I'm not going to try running around at each end or whine or anything. Once we get to Bryson, I will. That's a little far to shove. Let's skip an hour. We're going to do 1 hour chunks. Alright, and away we go. How's our engine doing back at the shop? It's getting there. Oh, see? Wheel slip. Yeah. Now that our train is a lot lighter, though, it should be a lot easier to move passengers around. I don't think the time skip changed. Oh, well, it did. No. That is kind of a good deal. Well, not really. But I want it combined. And we're going way too fast. We're gonna slow down a bit. Should still be able to go 40 through here, though. But that's the speed limit area. Slow down a bit. Just a little bit of brake squeal. Or a little bit of wheel squeal. Flange squeal, that's the term I'm looking for. I think you need to provide service twice a day in order to keep your passenger rating up. We might do 3 times just to get more money. But we're not going to get a lot of passengers today because our rating is at bare minimum. So we'll probably just do like 3 runs to get a little bit of moolah, and then we'll go from there. And we might do some night runs depending on when the other stuff finishes. Keep in mind, it does have to finish before we can book the next thing. If I'm clever, what I might be able to do is schedule the interchange before the milestone completes, but schedule it so that it'll arrive after the milestone completes and we can get the next one. I'm not sure if that'll work, but we can try. I'm willing to experiment with this. I have been playing around with this mod a little bit already, so I have some idea of what it's like. Oh, and in case you didn't see, I do regular videos too, not just streams. Just put one out for the Puyallup Great Train Show. That was 2 weekends ago now. About 2.5 weeks. Took a while because I had to get some other personal stuff done before I made that video. But go check it out. It was, of course, as big as it always is. Interestingly enough, Great Train Show also did one in Kennewick this year. Kennewick is on the opposite side of the state. I went to that show too, and it was a fraction of the size of Puyallup. Not just in the fact that there were fewer vendors and a smaller building, but there were also no layouts. Like, they had the ride-on kiddie train, but that was it. There were no clubs that brought model railroads. Kind of disappointing, but I think there's only like 1 or 2 clubs in the area anyway, so you'd have to convince a traveling club to come, and again, there really wasn't space. I think the building was about 1/5 of the size of Puyallup's. Okay, you're still waiting, and we still gotta get those. Maybe what we'll do is we'll AI this one on the next passenger. Well, we'll wait till the other one fixes up a bit more. We're still waiting for stuff to unload. Okay. Now, I will say one mod I turned off for this one is the charter cabooses, because the game recognizes charter cabooses as being the smallest form of passenger car. And keep in mind, they don't haul a whole lot of passengers. But on the other hand, the game also does not consider them to be observation cars if you've got Lego's Better Passenger mod installed. It'll acknowledge them as passenger cars, or maybe it calls them cabooses, but it doesn't call them ops cars, so you don't get the bonus for it. And I'm pretty sure you used to get the ops car bonus with them. You also don't get the faster train AI speed. So, yeah, no more charter cabooses. I think I turned off the excursion cars too. Alright, let's time skip another hour. We got 15 more people to board, and then we'll take off. And our locomotive fixing progress is 89. Once it gets into the 90s, I'm willing to send it out to do some work. We good? We're good. Let's customize this engine a bit. We'll give it a better whistle, or a different whistle. There's so many to choose from, though. I don't know if I've heard all of these. I was just looking at one that I haven't seen before. What's this? I kind of like that one. We'll go with that one. Eh. Susan Lua, 12? That don't look like Genoa. Well, you're right. But if I go here, we do have an 11 as well. You know, once it's done being fixed. Alright, and yeah, we can more or less coast our way to Ela because of the grade. Yep, Reno. This is a mod, by the way. This is not base game. I want to say Green Ninja did this one. Imported a Dan Gallery model. I don't remember now. It is fun, but again, because of the restrictions placed on us by the game, it's what we're forced to start with the research mod, because we have it. So we're going to be spending at least a few episodes with nothing but these two 440s. And given that we want to connect Silva to Alarca, we are going to need bigger power. Yeah, honestly, I've got a massive list of mods installed. See all of them? Look at all them mods. And there's people, I'm sure, with even more. Speed! 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 Yeah, I've seen Reno sitting there too, without its tender. I'm pretty sure the plan is to restore it, but I guess they're waiting on shop space. They do have at least one other engine up there that needs its 1472. And Reno is going to need a lot of work. I did also have the pleasure of seeing it down at the Great Western Steam Up in 2022, though. At that point, it was down sitting at the Nevada State Railroad Museum Roundhouse. And I've seen the actual Genoa at the same spot. For a time, it might still be at Nevada State Railroad Museum, but it was on loan to Nevada State Railroad Museum along with, I think, J.W. Bowker? One other VNT engine, and then the Dayton and the Commissioner's car were at the California State Railroad Museum. I don't know if they've swapped it back yet. Okay, Genoa is still there. Good to know. We're gonna come screaming into the station. I think we're gonna overshoot the platform a little bit. No. Alright. Let's swap our peoples. And save our game. Come on. There we go. Well, it's loading people for Whittier anyway. Are you gonna let off the people for Ela? Okay, now you are. I guess everyone had to collect their bags and grab their stuff. So let's see, how's this doing? So those cars I think were the most full, so those cars are going to be the limiting factor to how long this takes. We'll keep an eye on them. Oh, also, this winter weather is also a mod. We haven't gotten any snow where I am this year, so it's not really accurate. But I'm gonna keep it until, I don't know, at least until spring. Small Vid 260 or 440 pulling a single superliner. That would be a sight. That would be like the time that Forney pulled a single auto rack. That would be hilarious. If I had a superliner model, Maybe I'd try that with... Well, I mean, I don't have a model of a small 440. I've got a model of a bigger 440 in N scale. It would still look funny, but not quite so much. Alright, let's roll back. And yeah, we'll do one more passenger run besides this. So we'll do 3 round trips. And if we check our screen, the other engine is still being touched up. We can, I mean, you can call it the knockoff Genoa if you want. I'm calling it Nicholas. But to be fair, I'm also calling the 11 Patrick. So. Besides, knockoff Genoa would be kind of hard to write on here. I guess it would fit, but it would be pretty small. Alright, there's the speed board. Oh, we never did check the oil on all those other cars. Future us problem. Alright, let's give it more speed. With one car, even one that's 50 tons, we can go pretty quick. We are rocking a lot. Maybe I should... I don't remember where that setting is. I think that's a different setting menu. We won't worry about it for now. A V&T Genoa or Reno mod for Derail Valley. That would be pretty cool. It would not be very powerful. Now, you might know... I'm going to zoom out a bit because I can barely hear myself when this engine's running this hard. There is someone who's made a bunch of mods for narrow gauge equipment. You have to use the narrow gauge mod to use them. But it's like a baby Porter 040, a baby little 260, Heisler that I technically provided some reference material for, and then a 440 cab forward. And there's plans to add a lot more. It's all really adorable. It has matching equipment that's the right size for it. It's not very strong. That could also be a fun set of videos if I wanted to get into that. But I'm having enough fun with Railroader and with Infinite Rails right now. So I haven't touched Infinite Rails in a bit. Kind of waiting for a more substantial update. Oh, we are going a bit fast, apparently. Yeah, the one disappointment I have with the Heisler is that it does not include the absurdly oversized diamond stack option. Which I mentioned because that's what our Heisler at the Sumter Valley Railway has. If you see pictures of it, massively wide diamond stack. Some of us have jokingly called it the sombrero stack. Unfortunately, I guess due to limitations with the hitbox, he wasn't able to include it. So, okay, fine, that's fair. But you could still put a regular diamond on it and it would look as built. And maybe one of these days we'll get around to trying that. I haven't played Derail Valley in a bit. And I haven't streamed it at all because my old computer was not powerful enough for it. This one I think it would be. Yes, that Heisler. The W.H. Eccles Lumber Company number 3. And he did use what looked like a diagram of it as one of his bases for his model. Okay, we're gonna skip time again. Well, no, we'll be nice. We'll let everyone get off, and then we'll skip it forward another hour. Okay, so we'll let these people on, and then we're actually going to AI this one, because I think our other engine, yeah, actual Reno is done, so we're going to go, so we'll AI this one to Ela, and then we'll go do some work with the other engine. Also, I've managed to accidentally make my map too big. For a while I was able to resize it down, and now I can't figure out how to do that. So if anyone happens to know, let me know. But yeah, let's watch this, because you'll see with the AI, it's going to slip at some point. Yep. See? The AI likes to go full power. And sometimes full power is not what you really want. But it is gaining speed, so we'll let it go. And I just remembered I can't do anything with this engine because the coal car is not in the right spot. Right. So I guess we'll just manually run this and then we'll go deal with the other engine. Someone was saying that happens with the cab forward too. I think Angry Ragtimer in general were saying that. It loses pressure really quickly. I think in that case they were talking about if the safety pops, it bleeds pressure really quickly. Admittedly, that Porter is not very big, so it would not surprise me that it loses pressure quickly. You might want to tone it down for game purposes, but I could see it losing pressure fast. And the Heisler really isn't meant to be fast. It was meant to have great tractive effort and be good on bad track. So, again, it makes sense that it's kind of slow. I think I was watching, what was it? I think it was Hyce's video of it, and it could barely get up to 30 kilometers an hour, unless it was going downhill. Which, I think that's about the right speed range, maybe a little faster. We try to avoid running hours over 10 miles an hour. It's also, you know, a narrow gauge Heisler, so it shakes back and forth quite a bit. Alright, brake for this corner again. Brakes off. Highball. And out of the zone. Oh, yeah, that mod. I've seen that one. In fact, I jumped into Hyce's stream when he was testing it, and wow, those things go bye-bye. There we go. Hope my brake hasn't been on the whole time. That would be a little embarrassing. I mean, I imagine if you turn off derailments, that's one way to get your jobs done really quickly. And just strap rockets to them. Time bonus? Done. Actually, that could be a fun challenge for someone who plays Derail Valley. Deliver a job with derailments on, only using rockets attached to the cars you need. Without derailing. That feels like it would be a difficult challenge. If you really wanted to make it hard, tell them to turn the UI off so they don't know how fast they're going. One active freightway bill in the area. Why is there one active freightway bill? Did something... Oh! One of the cars completed. Well, that's convenient. Those ones are still going, though. Those ones are halfway done. Or more than halfway done, though. So I think by the end of tonight, we'll be able to do another one. Get the next cars coming. Which would be good. We're gonna do another little test here. So 22.2, and if I open the time window, we'll fast forward an hour to get more passengers, and now it's down to 15.9. Ooh, that would be interesting, yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. You do it, rockets on the cars and no engine, but yeah. Something to run into and slow down. That might work. Alright, 22.2 minus 15.9. In 1 hour, it delivered 6.3 tons. I know Loco says never do math in a YouTube video, but there, I did. So, and do we have all our passengers? Yeah. So let's roll back. We'll do this last passenger run. And then we will deal with some freight stuff. We'll get our other engine cold up, and then we'll head tonight. And I think what we'll do is we'll fast forward 1 more hour. And then we'll set the interchange. And then we'll see if we can get the cars we need. SP's a good one. I'm slightly biased towards SP&S, but SP is a close second. Then again, the SPNS is the Northwest Zone Railway, so Northwester, gotta like it. And we are going a little too fast here. And, well, actually, we're still going a little too fast here. Sorry. Out of the curve, we pick things up. Don't need to pick it up quite that much, though. It would be kind of fun to go back to NSRM this year. I'll have to think about that. Been thinking about where I can go this year. My schedule of other events kind of makes it hard for me to go places. Because I got the Sumter Valley Railway is doing its 50th anniversary this year, so I'll be there for about a week for that. You should come too. It's June 13th through 21st, Baker City, Oregon. I've also got a couple of weddings this year. I'm going to a conference for work. Might be able to do like a 4-day weekend trip somewhere if I time it onto one of my 3-day weekends at work. So I've been thinking Durango or Northern California. We'll see. There's a few places I could go. Kind of bugs you that in Rare Order the engines don't completely go off the tracks and then instead just come off and chill on the side. I mean, on the one hand, it makes it a lot easier to re-rail because they just kind of lean over on the spline. As opposed to, yeah, Derail Valley or Railroads Online where they go, whee! But again, this is a railroad management game, first and foremost, not a train simulator game. So, yeah. I kind of get you, but I'm also kind of glad it doesn't do that. Come hot into the station. We're blocking the road this time. Okay, well, that's okay. We'll drop off these 57 passengers. Let's do this real quick. We'll start setting this up. Well, we can't unload, so we're gonna load at L1. No. L2. Connect a couple, and yep. And then we want these ones at L1. And then they're uncoupled right now, but they'll couple up again when we... I think I did that one wrong. Maybe I need to cycle this guy. There we go. That does it. Okay. So what I think we'll do is we'll stick the coach in the engine shop so that it repairs. We'll just touch it up and then we'll shove that there, shove this up, pull the green engine out, let 12 take a break, and we'll send 11 to deal with these cars. Feels like it takes forever for passengers to unload right now. Oh no! I'll admit, I was a little disappointed when I went to the Great Western Steam-Up, because when I bought my tickets, I bought it for the day when Tahoe... Okay, Nevada County Narrow Gauge 5, but they've got Tahoe on it. That engine and 18 were supposed to be pulling the passenger trains, and then when I got there, they'd switched it so that Glenbrook and Eureka were doing it that day. And I really wanted to ride behind SP18, so I was a little annoyed. But I still got to ride behind Glenbrook, so I wasn't going to complain. Yeah, Great Western Steam-Up was a blast to go to. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see anything like that for a while. But it would be fun. But yeah, seeing the doubleheader with those two engines, that would have been cool to see. I think I did see Tahoe running, but it was running light. Which I think is also why they swapped around who was pulling what day. They didn't want Tahoe... They decided Tahoe wasn't quite ready to actually pull revenue trains. Alrighty, let's take back to the shop. Yeah, I've been to... Well, I guess I can say I've been to that museum 2 times? 3 times now? Yep, they did in fact put Tahoe in the Until Later corner that time. But in fairness, there were a ton of other engines there. There were other engines that could run, and they had just finished restoring Tahoe. And again, that was... almost 3.5 years ago now. That was July 2022. Does not feel that long ago. And then the next time I went was December 2023. A friend at the museum invited me to come ride a special train at the Christmas train at the V&T, so I did that, and then we went to the museum, and I got a cab ride on the Virginian Truck U25. That was fun. Also got to shove it around the turntable because they needed an extra hand on the turntable. We should probably water and coal our engine too, but we'll take care of this first. Yeah. Armstrong turntable, so it was pretty well balanced, and there were other people, so it wasn't too hard. Yep. Alright. Let's go deal with the other things. So first we're gonna shove into that, park it there, shove this up, move it there, and then we'll grab our other engine. I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of this caboose anyway, just because they don't let you recolor it off of white. Like, see? It's gotta be white. I'd rather not have a glaring white caboose. Ooh, that's fun. I've been... I guess I can say I've been in the cab of Glenbrook, but I'm so big I was mostly standing behind the cab of Glenbrook. That engine was not meant for short people. In fact, if I stand on the rear deck, I can just see over the top of the cab. That's how small it is. Somewhere I've got picture proof of that. Alright, so we'll shove this one in. I've gotten to go in the cabs of a few different engines. I mean, obviously the ones at Sumter. I've actually been in the cab of both the SP&S 700 and the 4449. And let me tell you, 4449 is a spacious cab. Not when it was fired up, mind you, just when they were both sitting in their respective places. And putting a steam engine in a siding is putting it in the shame corner. Well, I mean, you're not entirely wrong, I guess. Let's see, the Royal Hudson at the museum in Squamish, Railway Museum of British Columbia, that one they let you go into the cab. Also the little 262T plus T, it's a tank engine but it's got a tender. Doink. There was this cute little Danish 060 I've gotten to go in the cab of. Not, again, while it was in the shop. That was an adorable little thing. And what's weird is it was built in 1949. Denmark was building steam engines in 1949. Just whack. Oh, not quite. There's been a few other steam engines, but those are the ones that really come to mind. Alright, we'll coal you up, we'll back you up. Or no, maybe we'll have you go... yeah. We'll get you out of the way so that this engine can go grab the log cars. And then while it's dealing with the log cars, we'll have this one get cold and watered. Alright, thank you, Susan Lua. Have a good night. Enjoy Derail Valley. well, we'll run you manually for now. We'll have you go grab those log cars, and then I'm gonna AI it up the mountain so we can get this engine figured out. But of course, once this engine is figured out, we can un-AI this and run it manually too. Brakes, 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 brakes. There we go. Cut 1. Cut 2. And go up the mountain. And now... oh, hang on. Let's get this engine out of the way, and then we'll tell it to go up the mountain. How about that? Otherwise, it's gonna go further than it really needs to. It might still go further than it really needs to, but we'll see. Nope, it'll be fine. Overshot. There we go. And then there will probably be some time skippery shenanigans going on as well pretty quick. I guess the advantage to these little engines is it doesn't take very long to fuel them up. Alright, so here's what I want to look at real quick. Okay, those are down to 13.7. Let's do another 15 minutes. 12.2. 5. So I think it's going at about 6 tons per minute. Let's maybe do another 15. Okay, so here's what we're going to try and do. We're going to set another interchange. And then once we've dropped off the log cars, we will skip time until these finish. Hope it happens before the interchange. And then we'll get the next milestone. We are going to have to pay full price for that milestone, but that's okay. I'm willing to pay a little extra for the convenience of getting things done. We're gonna go let this engine touch up real quick. It's been running hard all day. solve this issue just by doing that. Yep, there we go. Speed limit posted is 25. I think actual is 30. Well, you can, like, actually go. So we'll find out. Hopefully nothing comes off the track. Oh, that is kind of sharp, though. Yeah. 30 is probably the limit. Yeah, they're brand new cars. That'll be fine. Cutter speed. Oh, we have the brake on. That's embarrassing. So we'll drop these ones at L1, the others at L2, and we'll go from there. The air should hold it, but we'll set a handbrake. Be able to go quite a bit faster now. Actually, I'm gonna make sure that the switch is lined, because otherwise I'm gonna go miss the switch. Switch. And good. Okay. Yeah, we're already up to 28 now. Go flying around that corner. The song feels like it should not go in this order. What song am I on? Yeah, I might have to reorder that. So we're not in the dirt. So now we'll auto you back down here. We'll save. And now we are going to try and very precisely time skip this. So we'll go 1 hour, 15 minutes, 5. Okay, complete. So now what we do, milestones, phase 2. And we'll see if that works. It should be served in an hour, so we actually probably could have done it with more stuff to be delivered. But, you know, I wasn't sure. We will let 11 get back down, because I think I'm going to just double head these two engines. And if we double head them, it'll run a little faster. And if I'm wrong about the interchange, then, well, I probably just made things a little bit worse. But we will find out. That's what this game is for. And I don't think I can manually run it faster than it's already going to go. I mean, maybe I could, but I'd probably wreck it in the process. So we're just going to let the AI handle it for now. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Nah, it's probably fine. We're not going to do another passenger run this time. So yeah, we're just gonna sit here for a bit, I guess. I guess we can go follow the other engine down the mountain. We could probably, you know, we could probably run it a bit faster. Just gotta get down the mountain in one piece. In one piece, please. I don't want to be picking up bits of engine off the canyon walls. I'd really be sorry. Which way is the switch set? The wrong way. Look at this game trying to make this engine point the wrong way. Look at that glimmer on the rocks. That was pretty. Now I wonder, in theory, hypothetically, if I were to add an engine with even less tractive effort than this to the game... Oh. Clearly that was 20 seconds. But if I were to add a weaker engine to the game, would it turn... these two engines magically turn into that? Or would these stay as 440s and then I would just be stuck buying the other engine? Probably I wouldn't, because I'd still have this one, the max tractive effort. It's interesting to think. We want to gently knuckle into the other one. And then we will do... well, first we're going to do that. And then we're going to do that. And now we want to carefully advance time to the next interchange. Hey, look at that! We got more Elabridge cars. And we got more money. We're not going to use that money. We're going to save that money. But we do have more money. So we want to take all these cars and highball to Ela. I guess this one isn't as heavy as the other one. 40 tons is the maximum car weight. So we'll take this run to Ela, we'll bring the other cars back, and then maybe one more thing and we'll call it a stream. Still feel like I'm forgetting something. It's probably fine. That is also such a lovely sight, even if there's no caboose. Let's close in a bit. Mind you, this engine's headlight is glaring right at us. I'm not sure if that's from an auto run thing or if that's I left it on accidentally. Although I think I'm actually in the second cap still. Yeah. That's okay. We only use my guy for, like, re-railing stuff anyway. And occasionally turning turntables. Angry Ragtimer has a mod that, like, insta-spins turntables, and it works the way that Hyce has talked about, or not Hyce, that Mark from Studio 346 has talked about doing it, where you just click on the end of the turntable and click the track you want it to point at. Oh, this one still has the other whistle. That seems like a good way to do it, and the mod does that, but it also does it at, like, light speed, so your engine instantly changes location. I don't know about that. I think it should at least spin at a semi-realistic rate. This is a great song for these two engines right now. Now, one of the other things with that Caboose mod, which I think I mentioned earlier. No, maybe I didn't mention the Caboose mod. I think it is the Caboose mod, actually. An AI train without a caboose or a passenger car is limited to 25 miles an hour. If it has a passenger car on the end, it can go 35 miles an hour. If it has a caboose on the end, it can go 40, and if it has an observation car pointing the right way, it can go 45. So technically, because I don't have a caboose on this train, I can run this thing faster in person than I can AI'd. I have that mod downloaded because it is kind of fun to include that penalty with the AI trains. What song is this? Okay, so we'll be restarting the playlist pretty quick. But yeah, I like that mod when like I normally do, you tend to run your trains just AI so that you can have multiple trains running while you're switching. That mod is kind of fun, and it actually makes cabooses useful. But for this point in the game, I think it's more useful to have the money. Especially since I am largely running them manually right now. That said, once we can get cabooses again, and I'll probably just get this one because, well, it is heavier, admittedly. Brakes. That was the slow corner, wasn't it? Caught me monologuing! Okay, the picture isn't coming up, but I do like this caboose. Even though it has weight to it, it's also cheaper. So we'll probably get a bunch of the Northern Pacific cabooses. We might get a couple of the regular ones once we have more money. And also once the discount for running good kicks in. Now we don't have to stop at the station this time, we're just going to park our cars on the main, grab the others, and drag them to the siding. That's probably good. Maybe? Yeah. Okay. Now we're good. So here's the plan. We're going to grab these cars, we're going to drag them back to the other end of the siding. We'll split off the red engine, we'll split off Nicholas, and it'll shove these cars in while this engine runs back on AI. And then this engine will just run back light. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. So oil some of these up. While we're going slow enough for it. We're not going slow enough for it anymore. Okay. That's okay. We will check that in a moment, once we get back into the siding. Off those handbrakes that we had set. Oh, ha! You still got your headlights on. That's funny. And brakes. So select you, AI yourself to there. And I know we're not going far, but I'm at least going to get these into like the 70s or 80s on oil. Otherwise, we might not have it. Yeah, see, that one was just about ready to go. Yes, yes, slip sliding away. And now you run back to the interchange. Go to there. Really? 4 miles? I guess that is almost 4 miles. I keep thinking it's only 2 between Whittier and Ela, but it's a little over 2, and then you got the extra distance of the interchange. Alright, once this thing's coupled in, we will shove these up. And then as we run back, I will take care of one more thing. Which is something you eagle-eyed viewers might have spotted if you've been watching me since I started. And if you haven't been watching me since I've started, it's something that you're probably assuming I've already done. We didn't check these cars for oil either. That one was just about ready to go too. Except for that one, the rest should be fine. Again, they're not going that far. Because the AI insists on running at 100% throttle, it is slipping and slipping and slipping. I don't think you can even wheel slip any of the base game engines. I think there's like one where people have managed to do it. Alright, we're gonna roll back. And now for that thing I mentioned. We're going to skip forward 3 hours. One, two. Alright, so we paid our shop crew, we got our reputation, we've done our research, so, again, they need to do the research, but we've paid for it. And now for that thing that you're probably thinking about. Bandan, did you remember to actually activate any of the contracts? No. No, I didn't. Do you know why I didn't? If I had activated the contracts yesterday, we would be able to do Tier 1. Because I didn't do it, we can go to Tier 3. Now, mind you, we can go straight to Tier 3, which is going to make us a ton of money. But it means that we can't actually get any cargo for them until, well, tomorrow. Which means that for the next session, because once we get back, I'm going to call this a game, or call this a stream, means that for the next session, it's just going to be passengers and the last Ela Bridge thing. But if we get that Ela Bridge done tomorrow as well, or I guess today as well, we'll also be able to get the Bryson stuff up to Tier 3. At which point we will be simultaneously rolling in the dough and scrambling to haul everything with tiny little 440s. And while it would then be good to get more money into research, right now we don't have more money to pour into research. We need this to last us another couple days, essentially. I think that's the other train ahead of us. Yeah, the other train is still going kind of slow. No, I'm just gonna AI roach you. And we'll get this thing going at the right speed. We'll actually get this thing pulling now. And yeah, the other engine will catch up to us, but that is fine. Oh, well, I think, yeah, I think it just slowed down too. Yeah, now it's slipping. Ah, dang it. That's okay. It's okay for that one to go slower, but I want this one back faster. Oh, well, I guess the other one slowed down because it's running light engine, so the AI won't let it go faster than 25. Right. Forgot about that part, too. Still don't regret selling the caboose. We needed the money. Now I am actually kind of curious. We'll have to check when we get this thing parked. How much has the Ela Bridge cars unloaded already? Go take a look. I mean, none of them are empty. We'll have to do some testing. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do the testing and set up for the next one, and then we'll call it a stream. Feels like we've already done a lot more than the average episode last season. Then again, towards the end of the average episode last season, we were doing 3 episodes to run a single day. So. I'm going to throw the switch behind us so that when the next engine comes, it goes into the shop. Yeah, that's fine, that's fine. The other one's just on automatic movement, so it'll go until it hits a flare, a switch against, or the end of track. It's not on the waypoint. And unfortunately, we do not get money for dropping off these cars. They just go away. They just go away. But we want them to go away, so that's fine. Yeah, MOW's update ought to make things interesting once they finally add it. I mean, all respect, this is a fun game, and I understand it takes a while to add new features, but how long have they been saying that thing's coming? And there's our other engine. Might be able to get to the shop ahead of it. No. Well, maybe, but I'm not going to try. So while we coal and water Patrick, let's go over to here and we'll do some testing. Okay, so so let's see. That is currently at 20.3. If I wait 1 hour, 14. So it's still doing the 6.3 thing. So, we're gonna wait 15 more minutes. 12.5. And now we set the next interchange. 4 o'clock. And I'm gonna save just in case I do this wrong. So now we, well, first we move this engine so it'll actually coal up. We go back to Ela. We time skip an hour. time skip another hour. We buy the last milestone, and now we get a discount. We wait 15 minutes twice. And in 1 minute, we should get the last round of cars. And hopefully, we will be able to use that to finish off the bridge. And there will be much rejoicing. We're not going to have much money to do anything about that, but we'll be ready. Oh, hang on. We need you to do that again. And there we go, the last round of cars. So, whew, well, that means we're probably gonna reach Bryce in midday today. And I mean, dang, that's fast. If you told me when I first started playing this game you could get there that fast, I would not really have believed you. But I guess it helps if you know what you're doing and you do it quickly. And I guess it also helps if, thanks to game updates, they give you smaller cars at the start of the game and bigger cars later on. I don't think that's part of Roundhouse Research. I think that's just, they've changed the game so that smaller engines don't pull bigger cars. Otherwise, we'd be having like an 80-ton car and a 70-ton car, and it would take a lot longer to unload. So that change, I think, helped us out. But I do believe we are going to end the stream here tonight. We've been going for just about 2 hours now. In fact, it'll probably be 2 hours when the song ends. But we will pick this up. Let's see. Gotta check my calendar. There is an important Wednesday this month, but it is not next Wednesday. So yeah, next Wednesday we will pick this up again, unless there's a big Infinite Rails update, in which case we might do it then. Or we might do a stream this weekend. I don't know. But we'll pick this up, we'll get the bridge finished off, and we'll keep going on the research. We might even make it to day 3 next time. I think this is going to be an interesting season. The mechanic of having to research equipment is definitely an interesting one. And the fact that it includes mods means that we're going to have to wait to get some of those overpowered mods, like the Mountain or the, what is it, the 2680? I've used both of those. Lots of fun, but a bit overpowered. But until next time, thank you all for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, you know, do the general YouTuber things. Or don't. I'm not the boss of you. But until then, have a good night, and take care.